Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving deep today into a topic that is fundamentally shaping the future of, well, global urbanization. We're exploring how domestic technological achievements can rapidly become an international blueprint, and we're focusing squarely on China's innovative model for smart city development.
That's right. And our core material for this deep dive, it's chapter 12 of the book, which provides a fascinating roadmap. Smart Cities, China's Model of Success by Eduardo Moreno L. Our mission today is to really pull apart Moreno's analysis and distill what he identifies as China's systematic path to global leadership in this tech space.
Yeah, because we're moving well beyond just admiring, the incredible infrastructure built in Shanghai or Shenzhen. We're exploring the comprehensive strategic, economic, and geopolitical framework China uses to export its smart city solutions. Here's where it gets really interesting for you. Understanding how domestic strategies become global operating models that, well, influence cities everywhere.
So to start, Moreno lays out China's global strategy. He describes it as the seamless integration of three major components: intense technological innovation, massive economic expansion, and calculated geopolitical influence. Crucially, this is all turbocharged by a centralized governance structure. That allows for incredibly rapid, large-scale implementation, a distinct advantage Western systems often lack.
What's the most visible vehicle for this global tech push? It has to be the Belt and Road Initiative, right? The BRI.
Absolutely. The BRI is central. It acts as the primary platform to export this smart city expertise.
And we're not just talking software here, are we? It's exporting entire technological ecosystems, advanced surveillance systems, sophisticated traffic management, cutting-edge, sustainable urban planning.
Exactly. And the power of these solutions is often that they are tightly integrated with Chinese telecommunications infrastructure, especially, the rollout of new 5G networks in partner countries. It's an end-to-end solution.
But this whole global strategy, it relies heavily on domestic proof points. Moreno points to cities like Shenzhen, Hangzhou, Beijing. These are powerful living laboratories, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They serve as potent showcases. They demonstrate the potential of AI-driven utilities and IoT-enabled infrastructure on a vast scale. It proves both the feasibility and the clear benefits to any international partners considering adopting the model. These cities really validate the entire national strategy.
And success at this level requires immense capital and development too. China's continuous significant investment in R&D, specifically focused on AI, big data, and the Internet of Things, the IoT, that ensures it can consistently offer cutting-edge solutions globally. We also have to mention the heavy hitters here. Key Chinese tech giants, specifically Huawei and ZTE, they play a major role, right? Providing the hardware and software.
A huge role. It's often through strategic bilateral agreements which facilitate technology transfer and joint ventures abroad. However, a deep dive requires balance, and Moreno does acknowledge the growing international concerns surrounding this expansion. These concerns often center on issues of, data privacy, cybersecurity, the increased level of surveillance built into some of these systems, and the broader geopolitical implications of China's rapidly expanding technological influence. That tension between efficiency and liberty, it's an inherent part of this discussion.
Okay, so if that's the strategy, BRI as the vehicle, domestic success as the proof, how do these solutions manage to be successful abroad, even with those international concerns?
Moreno points directly to the comprehensive nature of the frameworks they offer. These solutions are entire integrated systems, intelligent transport, smart grids, advanced surveillance. They're inherently robust and, importantly, designed to be adaptable to diverse urban environments, whether that's a dense metropolis in Asia or, say, a burgeoning city in South America.
But the biggest factor, especially for developing nations, it seems like it has to be the cost advantage.
Precisely. China's vast experience in rapid, large-scale domestic deployment results in enormous economies of scale. Just think about producing millions of IoT sensors or 5G base stations. This scale dramatically reduces the unit cost. It makes these world-class solutions built on breakthroughs in AI, big data, and 5G significantly more accessible to international markets than, alternatives from the US or Europe.
That makes perfect economic sense. What's fascinating here, though, is the careful balance they strike between technical adaptability and global compliance. The solutions aren't just copy-pasted. Moreno says they are customized to fit local regulations and existing infrastructure. But the Chinese companies also ensure long-term influence by actively participating in global standard-setting bodies. Is that right?
That's exactly right. They want to promote interoperability while simultaneously cementing their leadership role in defining future global standards. And this effort is bolstered by successful international collaborations. Murno details several key partnerships that demonstrate this strategic resource acquisition.
Okay, let's look at a few of those. Take Sino-European cooperation, for instance.
Yeah, the EU-China Urbanization Partnership is a fantastic example. It focuses on leveraging European expertise, specifically in advanced green technologies, smart grids, and high environmental standards. China integrates these sustainable practices, which strengthens the environmental appeal of its own model.
Then you have the interesting, almost contradictory dynamic with the United States. Despite ongoing geopolitical tensions.
Right. Academic and joint ventures continue, specifically targeting complex, kind of non-sensitive areas like AI and big data solutions for highly technical challenges. Think traffic management or public safety modeling. It seems like knowledge transfer in those technical domains, it sort of transcends the political friction.
Huh. And Japan.
And we can't forget Japan.
Yeah.
The collaboration there integrates Japanese expertise specifically in robotics, automation, and advanced disaster management, like sophisticated early warning systems. This is particularly relevant for applications concerning elderly care, given the demographic challenges shared by both nations.
So if we connect all these individual agreements back to the bigger picture, the BRI facilitates more than just infrastructure projects. It builds a growing network of smart cities globally. This network shares data, technology, best practices, fundamentally enhancing regional connectivity and creating this continuous loop of development centered on Chinese standards.
Okay, but I have to interject here and ask, if the cost savings are so heavily tied to integrating Chinese-made 5G infrastructure and, these data-intensive surveillance systems, isn't that simply a form of technological lock-in, where recipient nations are just replacing one dependency on Western tech with a new dependency on Chinese tech?
That's a critical question, and it's one Moreno implicitly raises when discussing those geopolitical concerns. The comprehensive nature of the integrated systems certainly makes it difficult, expensive, maybe even impossible to swap out components later. This holistic integration, while driving cost efficiency and effectiveness, it inherently deepens reliance on the provider. So yeah, it's an essential consideration for partner nations weighing up the benefits against the geopolitical risks of technological sovereignty. Now, what's particularly insightful, I think, is that even within China, there isn't a single monolithic China model. Moreno identifies multiple competing domestic models, all based on local context, socioeconomic factors, political priorities, technological readiness.
Right, so we need to move beyond just saying the Chinese model and instead ask, which specific model delivers the results? Let's maybe organize these approaches by their inherent trade-offs.
That's the key. On one side, you have the state-driven approach, characterized by top-down planning, centralized governance. Best seen in highly regulated and planned cities like Shenzhen and Hangzhou. This model guarantees speed and massive implementation scale, leveraging tech giants like Huawei and Alibaba. The trade-off here, though, is the risk of bureaucratic inefficiency and, maybe more importantly, limited public participation in the design phase.
Okay, then we shift to the market-driven model, prominent in tech hubs like Beijing and Shanghai. This emphasizes private sector leadership, innovation, venture capital. This approach is highly flexible, drives rapid technological advancement. That's a clear advantage. But the inherent risk is fragmentation. And maybe the potential to exacerbate existing socioeconomic inequalities if the tech primarily serves high-value private interests.
Moreno also highlights nuance with the hybrid model, seen in cities like Guangzhou and Chengdu. This attempts to find a balance using public-private partnerships, PPPs. It tries to couple strong state policy direction with the dynamism of the private sector. Aims for the best of both worlds, but sometimes struggles with misaligned incentives between public long-term goals and private short-term profits.
And finally, the smallest, but perhaps most interesting, the community-driven approach. Seen in Wuhan and Nanjing, this approach prioritizes genuine citizen engagement and local needs, fostering crucial public ownership. Now, while it faces significant funding challenges because it lacks the backing of major state or private capital, it's the most likely to achieve equity and public trust, wouldn't you say?
It seems that way, and the coexistence of these four models, state, market, hybrid, and community, is perhaps the deepest insight of the chapter. Successful smart city development requires context-specific solutions. What works for Shenzhen's rapid growth agenda will likely fail if implemented without adaptation in a city prioritizing long-term inclusion and local ownership.
So looking ahead, what innovations will define China's future global leadership? Moreno points strongly to the coming prominence of digital twins. This is where the technical jargon gets exciting, so let's break that down a bit.
Absolutely. A digital twin is essentially a complete virtual replica of urban infrastructure, running on real-time data. Think of it less as a map and more as a dynamic SimCity of your actual municipality. Cities can use these twins for deep simulation and predictive analysis. It allows planners to test complex, costly strategies like implementing a new public transit route or optimizing utility loads during a heat wave before moving a single physical barrier. This reduces risk and cost massively.
Wow, that real-time simulation capacity is revolutionary. So the core technology integration will only deepen. We're talking continued heavy integration of AI machine learning.
Yes, not just for analytics, but for real-time resource optimization like predicting equipment failures before they happen or optimizing garbage collection routes.
Right. And all of this relies on the essential expansion of a vast Internet of Things, IoT networks.
Which in turn require the ultra-low latency and high capacity provided by 5G for sophisticated applications to function reliably. These three, AI, IoT, and 5G, they are the technological backbone of the next generation of smart cities.
Sustainability also remains a primary driver for the future strategy, Moreno emphasizes. We're seeing an intense focus on green technology, renewable energy integration, smart grids that can dynamically balance power, green buildings. But what about the citizens? Public participation and inclusion managed through digital platforms, that will be absolutely crucial for ensuring equity and gaining public trust in these increasingly complex digital systems.
Definitely. And even with these technological leaps and the promise of digital twins, the fundamental challenge remains the same, both at home and abroad. And it goes back to our earlier point. Maintaining robust data security and governance frameworks to protect privacy and maintain public trust in an increasingly data-intensive environment. This balance between capability and accountability is paramount for future success and global acceptance.
So this deep dive into Moreno's work really showed us that China's quest for global leadership isn't just about big budgets. It's a systematic strategy, using the Belt and Road Initiative, leveraging proven domestic models, and deploying a rapid, adaptive approach to technology export that hinges on massive economies of scale and comprehensive integration.
And if China's future smart cities are indeed built upon AI-driven digital twins, creating this seamless, optimized virtual replica of the physical world for optimal decision-making, we must ask ourselves, how do we ensure that the virtual governance model remain fundamentally accountable and transparent to the citizens whose lives depend on the effective and ethical operation of the physical city?
A question worth keeping front and center as you watch this technological trend unfold globally. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope this has given you the perfect framework for understanding China's smart city ambitions.